I'm here. How are you, students? I need to go get my recorder, okay? I got to go get my, sorry about that. The first thing that we're going to do, though, is we're going to review all of our words that were our words that we were talking about when we were alphabetizing, but I picked some specific words for you early birds. We are on day 120 of the classroom, if you don't know where you are right now. I know, I heard you. It's the same old with her yelling and not yelling. Hey, hey, hey. This is how we keep your interest. Sometimes we have to raise our voices. Sometimes we have to change our facial expressions, right? Okay, so I want you thinking about these words, right? All of these words. I'm going to remind you of them, but I'll give you a few of them right here. Oops, not there. All right, so we're going to be talking today about strengths and weaknesses. Now, before I keep going on, I have to record. I'm back. Honey, I need a 2 terabyte backup disk drive. I can't back up any of my computers right now. I don't have a disk drive that's accepting it. It's complicated. They don't make anything that just plugs in for a backup, nor do they allow you to back up a backup. Don't ask me why. Very simple technology. Anyway, start recording. That's why we got it. Here we go. Now we're recording. Early birds, can you believe it, early birds? We are here on day 120. Thanks for joining me all the time, all of my millions of followers and watchers and viewers. I know you're out there. I see your faces. I don't see your numbers, but we know that why that is as well, right? We have haters. We have playa haters. Just a playa hater. You know what I'm talking about, even if you're in kindergarten. I don't know what she's talking about because I don't know what she said. Player hater. Don't be a playa hater. Yeah, that's the way I say it. You know, back in the streets, back in the ghetto. Oh, we're not supposed to say ghetto. You're not supposed to say ghetto. Oh, call it what it is. Call it what it is. That's what we do here. We really do try and get you in our early bird classroom to really start thinking about, my 2 is very big. We really want you to get thinking about very early on at young ages to really start thinking about the truth. I know. It seems so easy, doesn't it? Because you know it when you're young. And you know when people, you don't always know when people are lying, do you, little ones? No, we don't. I don't even always know when people are lying to me. Oh, look, I thought I lost that one, but I didn't. So I have 2 of the yellow and brown ones. Did lose my black and white one, though. To Lucy. Uh-oh. She's going to come. She thinks I called her. No, she's laying down. Her morning time is tired time for her. There we go. There we go. Remember what those are? Those are they cover up my lens. I got those from the milk cartons. All I did is paint them so they look really cool. And that's a lens cover, right? I don't think it does what it's supposed to do other than cover that lens. I think people are always watching. I do. I just do. But you know what? Here is the thing about it. So is God always watching you? Isn't he? Isn't God always watching you? Yes, he is always watching you. And the thing about that is that means if you are worried about other people watching you, then you're likely not. Do you think we could make green? Oh, we're back. Do you think we could make green? What is green made from? Red and blue? No, that makes purple. Why can I never think of what green is made from? Blue and yellow? Yeah. Okay. Let's get moving on this. I could spend all day. So I've got the 1, 2 there. Oops. I've got the 1, 2 there, but I don't have the 0 there. So we're on day 120. I do have lots of stuff ready for us today. Let me move along from the top. From the top, please. All right. Today, see, I have to do it right from the top, otherwise I'll forget that we are also getting ready for Valentine's Day tomorrow, early birds, and in doing so, I'm going to tell you what to get ready for our craft. So tomorrow we're going to do a craft in early birds for Valentine's Day. For younger people, it's going to be on a piece of paper. All right. For older individuals, if you want to, we're going to make a bouquet of roses. I got this idea from Teachers Pay Teachers. Honestly, I'm not going to be able to find it right now, though. But I just did Teachers Pay Teachers, and I did a Valentine's Day. And this is a spin on it. Younger kids can put it on a piece of paper. We're going to make hearts, right? So we're just going to cut out some hearts. So you want to get some colored paper of whatever color you want to make your hearts. You might want to make them like these colors, like white, pink, and red, right? You might want to put a purple in there, right? And have it purple, red, and pink, So, or you might want to do, which I like a lot, spring colors. So you might want to do a yellow heart, a blue heart, a pink heart, a green heart, right? And make them an orange heart, or more springy colors, maybe more, whatever. And oh, what a beautiful day we have today in Michigan. Let's see if you can see it. Almost, but not really. And so tomorrow, yes, we're going to do our Valentine's. So you want some construction paper that takes a look at, didn't I say I was going to do the weather sometime? Then I don't do the weather. Here's the weather in Michigan. I just noticed that it just started snowing. So just a few flakes are coming down. It's cold enough. You could see the flakes if you look close enough. You could see the flakes right from there sitting on the thin layer of ice on the water here in Michigan. And you think, why would you even want to take this away from me? Honest to gosh, I know you just hate yourself. Yeah, I know, me too. It's working. Anywho, so I wanted to show you that. And don't forget, what were we just talking about? Don't you get loose brain like sometimes I have. No, what were we talking about? What we are planning to do for our Valentine's project tomorrow, right? So you'll want to get some different colored paper, maybe matching. Maybe you go online and look at backgrounds for Valentine. That's what I did for this. I went online and got a Valentine's Day background. Thank you so much for all the, I guess the freebies out there that I use for teaching purposes. I can do that. I can. Oh my gosh, I had my glasses so clean the other day. Oh, I do it. Oh, look. Oh. Let's get started here with the oohs and the ahs. All right, so a long time ago, Tuesday, last week probably is when we started this, talking about different ways that we can organize our thoughts to help us remember things better, right? And even as we're talking about it, you can see it's not a direct way. We're not directly organizing our thoughts. All right, now if you've ever had a plan for a party, we're going to organize that in our area of our brain for our party planning. No, it's not even a direct route to organizing our thoughts, is it? It's very indirect. We are finding all kinds of tips and tricks, which is what that workshop was called, tips and tricks. So all of these are indirect ways. Lots of times, like psychology is an indirect way to get you to look at something differently. I'm not asking you to look at memory exactly the way memory is and then organize it. I'm asking you to look at it differently in terms of mnemonics and acronyms, but even more than that, right? Because we learned that was easy peasy to remember those Great Lakes, wasn't it? But even more than that, what do we want to do? Well, we want to rehearse it. You may have forgotten what the Great Lakes were, right? Maybe a long time ago you remembered them. Or maybe a long time ago, as in the other day, you remembered them. But now you don't. Why? Because you didn't rehearse. You've got to think about it, right? Or listen to it, or read it, or study it, or go over your notes, and then let some time pass. And then do a different one of those things, and then let some time pass. And then a different one of those things, and then let some time pass, right? And that's rehearsing the information over and over, or adding to the information. And that's elaborating, right? We elaborate by asking ourselves questions. And remember what I said, early birds, when we started this, that asking ourselves good questions, I didn't say that part at the start. I said, what are we trying to get to? The truth. The truth here, right? With all of this, we're trying to get the truth of what our strengths are and our weaknesses are. We're trying to get the truth of what I learn and observe. And if I only learn it one way, so that I only get it one way in my brain, right? One time, that's it. One arrow, one way. I read the textbook. Then what happens? Or I listen to Dr. Feravich's one video. Now we're rehearsing, aren't we? That's what we're doing right now. We are rehearsing information that we've already learned, right? Okay. And as I said, reading it, right? Taking notes. That's arrow number 2 up there. Taking notes. Arrow number 3, highlighting. Arrow number 4, rereading my notes. Arrow number 5, asking myself questions, quizzing myself. What if what you were trying to remember was a crime? What if what you were trying to remember was a crime? That's really difficult. The best way for you to remember if you had a crime, if you witnessed a crime, the best thing for you to do would be to go lock yourself in a room with all your defenses up. No. And then think about all the details. Don't try and make them up, right? But see, that's the thing. When you begin to do something like ask questions, you're seeking for an answer that doesn't have to be this or that, right? You just ask a question, you want an answer. What happened during this crime? So you ask yourself, what did he look like? Right? And then you let your brain do a little bit of work and call up the mental images. Right? You might want to write that down. List things. Right? Those are your reminders. Writing things down. Thinking about reminders by asking yourself questions, right? Don't tell yourself he was black, right? Don't tell yourself he wore a hoodie if he didn't. Your brain will help you do that work, all right? And again, it's very important for you to know the truth if you're trying to figure out something like, for example, a crime. But it's very important for you to know the truth no matter what you're doing, right? It's very important for you to know the truth if you are looking at history. What about those 30% of the books that are being taken off the shelves? What about those 30% of the books, right? You know, I had Seth Meyers say something to the effect about there was all kinds of controversy about the children's story about 2 penguins. And I don't know. I didn't read the book. So if I didn't read the book, it's very difficult for me to talk about whether or not I think that this book should be banned. But here's the thing. If it was written for an intent to introduce topics to young children who are too young for those topics, right? Again, we should be teaching children reading, writing, and arithmetic. So, and in character, things like this, right? But children shouldn't be learning about and have an understanding about sexuality. If children have an understanding about sexuality, then children aren't learning at their age. Now, young children who are here, you're going to go ask your parents about that word. And what I'm just going to tell you about that word is, if you are younger here, is it's for older people. And it's better for you to focus on the things that you enjoy focusing on, the things you enjoy focusing on. Because you know what? Those are likely your strengths. And right now, at younger ages, that's what you need to be focusing on. You need to be focusing on what are your strengths. But in order for you to really do that, know your strengths honestly, you also have to know your weaknesses. So, got a little bit of allergies going on, probably from all this dust in the house because I can't sufficiently clean. We like things clean. I realize I used to wash only my fingertips. It's probably the reason why they came out with fingertip towels. We don't need a fingertip towel. We need to wash our hands. I'm still getting spices out from underneath my nails. So, from cooking, I cooked for Super Bowl on Sunday. I know. So we need more than just fingertip towels. I don't know why I said that. This I did not get to. This is called, what is it called? The peg word technique. Peg word technique. Okay, so you can either use numbers in this technique or you can use words in the technique. When you use words, what you end up is getting a picture in your mind. All right? So, and what you're doing is you're linking two things together. So you're either linking something with the number or you're linking something with the word. Well, how do I know what word to use? Well, you link those initial words with the number because they rhyme with the number. All right? So here's the idea. If I put a mental picture in my head, boop, 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 boop. If I put a mental picture in my head, I'm going to remember it better. However, in order to put a mental picture in my head, I have to memorize a list of pictures. That's not like I'm doing a lot of work to get a mnemonic, right? To get a trick to remember things. I'm doing an awful lot of work here. And that's why mnemonics don't always work. That's the reason why. Because why not just learn the material instead of trying to learn an entire trick? And you need a very fancy trick to remember everything, right? Not everything turns out to be a nice, neat little word like homes. Not everything turns out to be that nice and neat. Sometimes, not everything is neat. N-E-I-T. Neat. I mean, I guess it does work out. But it's not really a word, right? Homes is a word. Not everything is neat. Now I remember it because what did I just do? I just made an acronym with it. Not everything is neat. N-E-I-T. Neat. Neat. I'm going to have to remember that. But it's not going to be easy for me to remember. You can read my other note up there too, if you want. N-E-I-T. Not everything, although that wasn't it? It was a lot neater than is. Oh, it's not N-E-I-T. It's neen. See, already I've got it. Neen. It's not neat. Not everything is neat. See, it doesn't even work. So not everything is neat. Although you can't put it in your head, and now I probably won't remember. Now I probably won't forget that if I remember neat. Not everything is neat. See what I'm saying? So that's why mnemonic, maybe you don't. All I'm saying is that's why mnemonics don't always work for you. That's why tips and tricks don't always work to remember things, because often you're spending a lot of time trying to learn the tip or trick, trying to figure out how to plagiarize and not have your teacher catch you. You're spending so much time doing that, where if you only spent the time, you could have spent that time learning the material. If you only had spent that time learning the material, you would have learned it and you would know it. A person who spends their time trying to learn tricks is likely a devious person. They want to find a shortcut. They don't want to learn the material. They have no appreciation for knowledge or the effort it takes. Now, so, it's possible that we could be talking about that very question. Give me a trick to learn it. Put a chip in my head. Then I'll know it. That's all you need to do, right? Just put a chip in my head. Then I'll know it. So, it takes a while. There are some sacrifices to learn a trick, no matter even if it is a chip, which seems very efficient, lots of information, right? There are still sacrifices that you end up making in all kinds of ways, likely understanding and likely in your ability, your real ability to use the information in a flexible kind of way, in a way that's interactive, which means it's dynamic, which means it changes. So these are fun to learn. All right, and so since they're fun to learn, I'm going to teach you this peg. See, I can't even remember the name of it. Peg word technique. I did remember it because I can't see it. Okay, so one bun. So how do we easily remember the first list of pictures? It rhymes with a number. So I don't need my glasses. I can't see it from here, although it does give me but you'll see if I stumble. 1 bun, 2 shoe, 3 tree, 4 door, 5 hive, 6 sticks, 7 heaven, 8 gate, 9 wine, 10 hen. Okay, so now we've got all of the pictures for our mental images, right? So let's say that I want to remember a mental image of, and I'll start, and you can start with the beginning one, or if it's a number, you can start with the number. If you have to remember a number, right? If I have to remember a number, I can make a mental picture of, all right, so how many things do I need at the grocery store? I need 4 things at the grocery store. So I'm going to walk through the door of the grocery store. There's my mental picture. Walking through the door of the grocery store, door 4. Do you see? See how that can work for you to make that mental picture? All right. But that takes work. Why don't I just remember the 4 items? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it may be easy in the most basic ways to do this, right? Maybe for a test. It's easy for you to make a mental picture, all right? But you have to manipulate it for the information. How do you use a mental picture for learning how to spell spelling words? I have no idea how you would do that, right? So, what if they put all the vocabulary in your head on the chip? Then they asked you how to spell a word. Would you know how to spell it? If you had the word on a chip and they asked you how to spell the word, would you know how to spell it? I don't know. You would have to you'd have to pull it up, but also have a mental image of it. You couldn't have just heard it or have the word filed on audio. You'd have to have it filed on visual as well. See what I'm saying? Didn't clean the glasses. So, what about the numbers? How about the numbers? The numbers, it's still a visual. Because you have to picture something of that number. But the numbers can walk you through a place, for example, in your home. And then you picture, so let's say that you were trying to memorize the first 5 presidents, okay? So you could picture in your home number 1. And you picture George Washington sitting in your living room reading the Declaration of Independence. Room number 2, now you're traveling in your mind, right? So if I come into my home, I would walk to the left, and I would come into the formal living room. So that's where George Washington would be reading the Declaration of Independence. I would walk into this room here, and then I would see John Adams in all his curly wigs doing his hair, right? Then I would walk into my kitchen right there, and I would see Thomas Jefferson at the sink, okay? Number 4, I know, I don't even remember anymore, kids. I think it's John Quincy Adams, but then I can't remember was number 5 Andrew Jackson? Did I get it? Holy moly. No, number 6 was Andrew Jackson. Who am I missing? I have it. Don't you worry. I got it right here. George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, then John Quincy Adams, then Andrew Jackson. So kind of screwed things up. Got the first 3 right. Had another name in there. Anyway, that's how I would do it. And then number 6, I would see Andrew Jackson riding off on his horse, with a trail of tears behind him. See? But you see how much work that took instead of just memorizing the first 5 presidents. Now I think I have them just because I read them, because I could see it. So, George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, and now I've got Andrew Jackson. See? Do you see the difference right there, kids? In taking the time to learn a trick. And you know who likes tricks? You must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. You must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. Is it, I'll pay the rent? My hero. Oh, true that, man. True that. Okay. I hope you're getting the hint of all of this. Because really, what is the best technique for remembering things? All across the board, it's elaborating. Whether I elaborate with pictures, whether I elaborate through my house, walking the presidents through my house, right? Or Harriet Tubman or whoever, I'm going to walk through the house, seeing the president sitting in my house, right? That's an elaboration of the material. If I'm going to, this picture elaborates on the material. Fun bun. I had fun at the party. Oh, I have to remind myself that I had fun at the party by having a picture of me with a bun in my mouth. What? What sense does that make? So, elaboration is the key. To elaborate, to add more and more information. But you want to add trickery information? Is that the kind of information that you want to add? Then I would think about your strengths and your weaknesses. That's what I would think about. So let's go to our strengths and weaknesses. Yay, we got there. Okay, kids, this is what I want you to do, right? So you might want to think about what are your 10 top, or maybe let's do our 5 instead of doing our 10. Well, let's just think about our 5. But how would you do that? How would you figure out what your top 5 strengths are and what your top 5 weaknesses are? I have a low battery. It's really low, and I only have 3 more minutes. All right, so I'm going to let you get ready while I go get the cord. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, since we alphabetize these, that's how we started our organizing our thoughts, if you remember. But what I did was I've got these character traits is what I did, right? So these strengths that we would want to develop is what we want to do. So all these are our strengths. They are strength characters. But you might not be as strong in some as you are in the other, so we'll call those weaknesses, things that you want to work on, right? Things that you want to improve. So how are you going to figure out your top 5 and your bottom 5, actually? Your top 5 and your bottom 5 is what we're trying to figure out. What you're going to do is you're going to rate it on a scale, all right? So I'm going to put up each one of the strength words. And what you're going to do is you're going to rate them on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being, I don't have it at all. See the face there? Oh no, I need to work on that. 10 meaning I've got this down pat. And then there are all those numbers in between. Now I want you to think about that for a minute while I go get my cord, all right? So just think about what I said while I go get my cord. 0 being I do not have that strength at all. 10 being had it, got it, no problemo. I'm golden on that one. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. So you're going to give these a number is what you're going to give these strengths and weaknesses, or strengths, right? The lowest ones are going to be what you have to work on. So you're going to rate these strengths. And if you're somewhere in the middle, you're going to give it a 5. Most of these things, none of us are perfect on, right? So if you're really good at it, really, really good at it, you might give it a 9. But I like this scale of 10. Sometimes when we're doing this as scientists, we only use a scale that is to 5. But a lot of times that just doesn't give us a really good picture of what might be the difference between this one that you gave a 4 and this one you gave a 5, right? So let's say, oh, but this one that I gave a 6 and this one that I gave a 7, That's a difference, right? So do you see what I mean? I mean, we're going to get a lot more differences when we have more numbers. So we're going from 0. I don't even know what the word means, right? Well, if you don't know what the word means, I'm going to tell you what the word means, right? So we don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's go with our scale. I'm gonna add our scale right there, just the scale, because that's a little bit busy for us. So we could just take a look at the scale. All right, there we go. All right, so let's go with our first word. And we're going to start here. If we have any time after Valentine's Day, this is where we're going to start. All right. So I'm going to give you our words that we had the other day. This will give you some time to think about what we said. We'll review it tomorrow. And because we review it tomorrow, that's like rehearsing, isn't it? Right? So reviewing something is like rehearsing it again. And so this will help us really get better at making our choices on these strengths and weaknesses, right? So how agreeable are you? Do you like to agree with others? Do you ever disagree with others, right? Do you ever disagree? Or do you always just say, and agree with everybody? If you agree with everybody, you'd be a 10. If you agreed with nobody, if you're always like, no. My husband wasn't very agreeable. He used a lot of those N words. No, never, not in my lifetime, when H freezes over. You know what I mean. So he would be less agreeable. He was not 0, though. He was not 0, but he was probably only a 1. Sorry, Stu. This nail just wants to break on me. It just is like, wants to break. So to take care of the nail, still I have a almost missing tooth. That's what I look like. I look like I have a missing tooth is what I look like. Can we get this fixed? Can I get my back fixed without a bunch of criminals? That Chad Kroger, what? Chad Kroger, nice hairdo, much better. But come on, seriously, it's clear you do not have a practicing degree. We're getting to the truth one way or another, folks. This is the Early Bird Classroom. You're learning it from the teacher. What are you learning? How to be healthier in your mind, in your body, and in your spirit. Thanks for joining the teacher. That's a pretty good exit.